Hello everyone and welcome back to My Inner Life, the continuation of Chapter 1, because it's so friggin' long that I had to stop last time. I apologize for getting super worked up about it last time. I think the thing that bugs me most, though, about this fanfiction is the fact that it just changes canon without warning. Just, oh yeah, this is different, by the way. So with that being said, I'm gonna try not to read quite as quickly as I did last time, and let's go. It was a warm spring night, and night had just arrived. No shit. Link and I were sharing the quiet sounds of the night together. I had been seeing Link for a little more than a month. The spring festival had come and gone, and the warm weather was finally returning. All signs of winter were almost gone, and my time in Hyrule was about to end for this year. In 2 weeks I would be leaving for the city of Tarvera. Knowing this made me sad to go, since I did not want to leave Link. I'd finally found someone that I truly loved, and I would have to leave him behind when it was time to leave. Even Link was not happy after I told him that I would be leaving soon. When I told him, his face went from happy to a depressed one. No comment. He wanted to be with me, and he wanted me to stay in Hyrule with him, but I was going to spend every last minute I had left with him enjoying it. We'd remained quiet for some time, then it was Link who broke the silence. Jenna, it has been a wonderful almost 2 months with you. I watched him as he stuttered to find his words. Even as short as it was, I really enjoyed the time I've spent with you. I wish you did not have to leave. I do not think I will ever find another quite like you, Link said as a look of sadness appeared in his eyes. At that moment, I was on the verge of tears. I was in love with him. I leaned over and softly placed my lips on his and kissed him tenderly. Then he looked deep into my eyes and told me he loved me. With those words I began to cry. I had never felt this way before, like the way he makes me feel when I'm with him. He gently took his hand and wiped away my tears. Then he put his hand underneath my chin and slowly lifted my head up until our eyes met. With his hand he drew my face close to his, gently placing his lips on mine and kissed me softly. At that moment I took the opportunity to deepen the kiss. As our tongues met, I started to feel his hands caressing my body. As he gently caressed my body, I let out small moans into his mouth. Then he moved his lips to my neck, placing sweet nibbles on it as his hands trickled up my back and to the clasp of my dress. Little by little he slowly started to remove my dress, and I felt my body quivering under the gentle caressing of his broad hands as he pulled the dress down off my legs and tossed it aside. Now we've gone into porno! Woo! First big sex scene, yay! Slowly he moved back to my lips and kissed me forcefully. His tongue began probing my mouth. My tongue slowly met his, causing it to intertwine with his, tasting the sweetness of him. Then we broke off the kiss, and I looked into his dark blue eyes as I reached up to remove the belt from around his waist. Slowly I pulled off his belt, letting it fall to the ground. Then I slipped my hands under his tunic and swiftly removed it as his lips went to my breasts. As his lips and tongue teased the nipples of my breast, I felt new feelings swarm through my body, wrong through. My back arched and groans of pure pleasure escaped past my lips. Never had I felt such feelings before. Never had my body ever felt such pleasure. Then Link slowly moved his lips down my body till he reached my navel. When he kissed it, a giggle passed my lips. Then he looked up, and we looked into each other's eyes as I reached up to his chest and placed my hands on the lace that held the collar together of his white undershirt. His body started quivering as my hands worked across his chest while I removed his white undergarments. Then I yanked it off, exposing his beautiful, heavenly naked body, a body of pure heaven. Redundancy, redundancy, oh boy, I love redundancy! Yay! Our lips met again as he gently pushed me down onto his bed, climbing on top of me. I began to feel his heart beating in his chest as his lips moved back to the nipples of my breasts. Soft moans of pleasure passed my lips as he nibbled gently on my nipples, causing them to become erect. As he teased my nipples with his lips and tongue, I felt his hand work its way down my body, first to my thighs, then between my legs. He gently brushed his hand across the lips of my mound, and I groaned to tell him to continue. Slowly his fingers probed around the inside of my flower, sending strange new pleasurable feelings coursing through my body. I moaned louder as his hands caressed the inside of my mound, moving at a slow up and down motion. I have never heard it called my mound before. I've heard it called a lot of things, but never a mound. That's interesting. Then his fingers brushed against my clit, and I screamed out as a pulse of pure ecstasy raced through me. I grabbed his hand and pulled it closer, telling him that I wanted more. Taking the hint, he teased me as his hand brushed across my clit every few strokes. My body shuddered under his touch as my soft moans turned into cries of pleasure and pure ecstasy. As Link's fingers teased and caressed my mound, his fingers moved down until it brushed over the entrance. Slowly, Link inserted a finger, slipping it into the wetness, probing me inside, causing animal-like cries to pass my lips. Then I arched my back and screamed in pure ecstasy as he began to thrust his broad fingers deep inside my hot wetness. New feelings flooded through my body, rushing to my head like a sugar high as his fingers pushed their way in and out of my sleek, beautiful body. You call your body... Okay, never mind. With each thrust, his legs shuddered, sending momentary shocks to my lower organs. Then I arched my back, my body screaming in ecstasy. As his movements became faster, I reached up and dug my nails into his muscular back as the eternal bliss raced through my every vein. I began feeling jolts of pure, hot passion surging through my lower organs, through my bones as I felt myself starting to climax. My back arched again, and I grunted in cat-like sounds as he began to thrust his fingers deeper, upping the movement. My hands felt his back become sweaty as I dug my nails in deeper. Then my slender body twisted as I came to climax, and I screamed in ecstasy for the 5th time. As my warm juices gushed down his hand, falling back panting, I looked into his eternal blue eyes. I want to make love to you, I whispered to him as he ate my body with his hungry stare. I've wanted to make love to you for the first day I met you. Oh, sorry, that's Link. I've wanted to make love to you from the first day I met you, Link said as his hungry lips returned to my beautiful neck. Then I bucked my head back, and cat-like sounds escaped past my lips as he pressed his hot body down against mine. As I ran my nails down his sweaty back, and I felt our hearts starting to beat faster as our bodies became hungry for each other. Oh my god, this is the weirdest sex scene I have ever read. Suddenly, strange new feelings began to surge through me as our passions ignited. Then he penetrated deep inside my sweaty body. The feeling rushed through me like a raging river. The feeling of feeling like a woman. I'm sorry, I can't help it. That was so dramatic. Never had I felt this way before. I felt my body beginning to surge with strange new feelings as I let my virginity slip away. As we made love, I whispered in his ear that he made me feel like a woman, and to my surprise, he said I made him feel like a man. We made love long into the night, fulfilling each other's hot desires and fantasies. And I thought to myself that this was one thing I did not want to miss. I wanted to drink in every part of him. And after it was over, I could not wait to feel him again. And of course, scene shift once again after a very, very flowery description of they had sex. Wonderful. The next few days were depressing. Us knowing that I was leaving in less than 2 weeks made us depressed. For the umpteenth time. No shit. The nights were spent mostly quiet except for the occasional sigh. I was beginning to think I'd never be this happy again. I thought you were depressed. Link made me feel special. He made me feel like a woman. And he was my first. Do I really have to leave? I asked myself. But then I remembered that the places I traveled to every year were counting on me, so I had to go, love or not. It was the day before I was leaving. I was at the marketplace for the last time for this year. I was at my stand selling what I had left when I saw Link enter the market and headed for where I was. As I watched him, I wondered if this was going to be the last time I ever going to see him again. I watched him as I wondered if this was going to be the last time I was ever going to see him again. I began to cry when he approached me. Taking his hand, he gently wiped away my tears and told me not to cry. He looked deeply into my brown eyes and told me he had something to tell me. Then he got down on one knee and produced a small gold box. He opened it to reveal a gold diamond ring inside. With a loud gasp, I clopped my hands over my mouth. was like, oh yeah. And then he took my hand in his. Will you marry me? He asked with hope in his eyes as I started to cry again. Oh my goddesses, yes, I will! I said in between tears. Dude, you've known each other for a month and a half! How are you gonna get married? You have literally known each other for a month and a half. How many days is that? That's like 45 days. You've known each other for 45 days and you're gonna get married? Oh my God. He took my left hand and placed the ring on my finger. Then he got up, we embraced and started to kiss. Now I knew I did not have to leave. I thought the people were counting on you. I thought there were all these people that were counting on you to get them stuff. But I'm getting married. I don't have to leave now. Those people can just go starve. Because I'm getting married. Hyrule was meant to be my home. We were destined to be together. Summer finally arrived, and signs of spring were slowly fading. I was spending my days at Hyrule Castle helping with the chores and making plans for my upcoming wedding. Link spent his days building a home in the Lost Woods for us to live in after we were married. I was excited about our upcoming wedding. I was marrying Link. I finally had the man I fell in love with. He was special to me, and he was building a home for us to live in, a home for us to raise our family in. Link told me he wanted to be a father, and that most of all he wanted his son. We had talked about having children together. But when I first started traveling, I did not want children. But now that I was marrying Link, I decided I wanted to have children with him. Having children by him would make them strong and beautiful, since Link was strong and beautiful himself. Even my friendship with Princess Zelda and her father grew stronger when we told them about our engagement and that we were going to have children. Since Zelda was not betrothed and not yet wed, this was the closest thing to her being a mother and the king being a grandfather. Now that we were to wed, my life was almost complete. Again, no jealousy from Zelda. No. Oh, he kind of saved my ass and I kind of fell in love with him and now you're getting married? That kind of sucks. No, there's none of that. Zelda's just like placid. I'm so happy for you. This is the best thing ever. Anyway, now that incredibly biology textbook sex scene is done, we're gonna continue on with a wedding, I guess. Chapter 2, we're getting married. Woo!